Hey everybody, welcome to my RV7 / Pete and Pole Air Camper YouTube channel. I've been trying to make this intro video now for probably a half hour, and I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet and to the point. The reason I'm making these videos is because one, I like to build, and two, I really enjoy helping other people. So these videos will show you how I am building my airplane. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an expert, because I'm not, and I'm not saying that the way that I've built my airplane is the way that you should build yours. These are just for entertainment purposes. Maybe when you watch these, it will spark some ideas in your own mind on ways that you want to build your airplane. The other reason I'm making these videos is because I need help building my RV7. I can build the airplane myself. Financially, it would take a very long time to do it. I would rather not wait a very long time, because I want to use this airplane as a platform to travel around the country and help other people with their aircraft projects or with their aircraft maintenance. So in order for me to do that, I've set up a GoFundMe page and an Amazon wish list, and those links will be in the description of all of these RV videos. So if you feel moved enough when you watch these videos, if they've helped you and you feel motivated in return to help me, I'd appreciate your donation or your purchases from the wish list. So that's it. That's the mission of the airplane. Like I said, I'd like to use it as a platform to travel to people. They can reach out to me and say, hey, I'm building an RV whatever, I'm building a Pete and Pole air camper, I'm building a Stoll type airplane, I have a certified airplane that I need some help with, whatever it is. I would like to be able to fly to their shop, to their hangar, and be with them real time, hands-on, and try to help them as best I can. I might not be able to help. Maybe I show up and the only thing that I can do is help you move a wing from one side of the shop to the other. I'm okay with that. So that's the idea. And as a little thank you, as little as it is, this is an RV7 elevator skin, and if you make a donation or you purchase something from my wish list, I'd like to add your name to this skin, and ultimately, hopefully, I'll have it full of names, and those names and the skin will be mounted at my hangar, what I call Wall of Honor, just as a little recognition that these people were nice enough to help me with my project. So that's it. Again, these are the RV7 videos. You might be interested in checking out my Pete and Pole Air Camper videos as well. But that's it. All right, that's enough yip yap for now. I say we get to building some RVs. Okay, so here I have the reinforcement ring on the rib. What I had done, as I had said before, that I went ahead and I had this plate laid out, positioned where I wanted it. I used the drill bit technique that I used to mark 3 holes. I went ahead and took it over to the drill press and drilled those 3 holes undersize, just big enough to fit the holes in this reinforcement plate. So now that I have the ring secured, I use the ring as a template to drill all of the holes, the bigger holes for the bolt, and then the smaller holes for the nut plates. I'm going to drill all of these, I'm going to match drill all of these to the proper size. So these will be, what are these? I think these go to number 12 for the bolts, and then the rivet holes are number 40s. So I'll leave this just like it is, take it to the drill press and drill everything to final size. Just a little safety note, I try to keep, if I'm drilling something with some length to it, I try to keep it up against the post of my drill press. So if in fact the drill bit were to catch the part and try to twist it, it won't fling away from me because it's being held by the part of the drill press there. See how I'm getting a lot of flex when I try drilling through with those larger holes. I'm pushing in on the rib, which I don't like. Now I could flip it over and try to drill it flat on the wood, but I can't do that because the clecos are in the way. So I think what I'll do is I'll get some wood to put up underneath here. Let's see if I can figure that out. Alright, so now I've got a piece of wood here that I can use as a backer. Now I've got 3 clecos here holding this together, which I'm comfortable with. I want to make sure that I match drill these 3, that I don't forget about them. So since I've got a couple of holes drilled already, I'm going to start moving clecos so I can get these 3 drilled as well. And then as I work my way around, maybe I'll add a couple as I go just to make sure that things are held in place really well. So this hole's been drilled. Actually, let me make sure that I have in fact match drilled these to the proper size. Those are good. Alright, now I can drill these 2 that I just took the clecos out from. So at this point, I'll just work my way around until I get them all done. There we go. And then of course I'll come back with the, oh by the way, these these large holes are for a number 8 screw, so I'm using a number 19 drill bit. So a 19 drill bit is a good size for these number 8 screw holes. And then of course I'll come back with a number 40 and do the rivet holes. So I'm not going to bother filming that, but you get the idea. Okay, so I just got finished match drilling this reinforcement ring to the rib. I took all the clecos out. Well, before I took the clecos out, I went ahead and I just made these couple of reference marks just to make sure that I get the ring back on the way that it was originally drilled. It shouldn't matter. All these holes should be clocked perfectly, so it shouldn't matter how this ring is put on here, but I just feel better knowing that everything goes back together the exact way that it was originally drilled. So I made my marks, pulled the clecos off, pulled the ring off, and I cleaned all the debris, all the drilling debris and stuff out from between them. And now I've added this plate because now I have to match drill these holes because these holes are not the final size. Now in theory, since the ring was match drilled to the rib, I could potentially just take this plate plain and enlarge these holes to full size, but I feel better doing it as a unit just to make sure that all 3 pieces are line drilled, so to speak. So I had the ring attached only to the rib without this piece, and I went ahead and I drilled these rivet holes as well because the rib needs the holes in it for the rivets for the nut plates. Now that those are drilled, I can drill these holes. Obviously this cover plate does not get the rivet holes. So now I've got this plate attached, and I'm going to go ahead and drill through to bring these holes up to full size. So this plate, the rib, and the ring are going to get match drilled as a unit. Again, probably not necessary at this point, but I like doing it that way just to be sure. I'm going to countersink the reinforcement plate for the fuel tank and rib. This plate gets countersunk deep enough to fit the dimple on the rib itself. So what I like to do, I use a test piece, relatively the same thickness as the skin of or the thickness of the rib. I make a dimple and then I countersink this piece until that countersink fits this dimple. Now I don't like to have it fit, I can't do this on camera, but maybe I can. If I countersink this deep enough that this dimple fits in here just by hand, if it fits in there nice and flush by hand, that's actually going to be a little too loose because the rivet itself gets driven really, really hard and really, really secure, and it will pinch these together more so than you could ever do by hand. So I like to countersink this just a little bit shallow, if you will, not quite big enough for the skin. So there's just a little bit, I don't know if that will show up, but there's a little bit of a wobble on the skin, which means that this dimple is not fitting down in this countersink deep enough when I squeeze it by hand. However, when I actually rivet this together, it will pull that down nice and tight, and it will be a tight, snug fit with no gap. If you go too deep on the countersink and you can get these to nest just by squeezing them by hand and they nest perfectly, you run the risk when you drive the rivet through here and squeeze it that it will actually pull these 2 pieces and leave almost like a little dent. It's not incredibly critical on the fuel tank, just something to consider. The other thing that I like to do, I use a really slow speed on the countersink, and I use cutting fluid, and that gives me a really chatter-free, clean, shiny countersink. So I've already done my test. I've already got my micro stop set. I got it secured with safety wire so it doesn't spin, and I'm all set to go. So I'll use a little bit of cutting fluid on these first few holes here. And this is pretty much how I do all my countersinks. I either test fit them with a dimple or I test fit them with the actual rivet head, the countersink rivet head, to get my micro stop set correctly. And I always use a slow feed or a slow speed. All right, here we go. Now I'll sit on it like that just for a little bit. When I go down, I'll hold it on there for a little bit just to make sure that it's down all the way and that it gives it a nice, clean, round cut. And that's it. Just keep on. That's that. Here is how all these pieces stack up, so to speak. So here's the end rib. Notice that the flanges are facing up. This is the right wing fuel tank. So this rib is the left side, the inboard side of the right fuel tank. So this would, if the plane is facing in this direction, this rib would sit this way. The tank would be here. So here's the cutout for the access cover. Here are the dimples for the rivets. Here's a reinforcement plate, countersunk for the rivets. And as I noted before, I have a reference line for the plate. So the plate would sit on like this. Just like that. Here is the access cover itself. No dimples, no countersinks. This just sits flat over top. Of course, this will get sealant on it. All of these components will get fuel tank sealant. This sits just like that once you get it lined up. Here we go. Like that. And then these rivet holes get countersunk on this face for a rivet head. That way this surface here stays nice and flat and flush, for your sending unit. That will go just like that. Where's the hole? There it is. Just like that. So that's the only thing left for me to do at the moment, is to go ahead and countersink these rivet holes for a flush rivet head. Alright. Hey everybody, it's me again. I just wanted to say thanks for checking out my video. And like I said in the intro, if you find these videos helpful and useful and you're moved enough to want to, in return, help me with my project, my GoFundMe link and my Amazon wish list link is in the description of each of these videos. And again, if you do make a donation or a purchase, I'll add your name to this elevator skin, and it will be displayed on my wall of honor at my hangar. So that's it. Thanks for coming by. I really do appreciate the donations, and hopefully when this aircraft is finished, we can meet in person and I will be able to help you or anybody else who needs help with their project, and we'll see what happens. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.